And for the second time this week, welcome back to the first video follow-up. I felt like this Monday's video was a little bit of a mic drop. I dropped a lot of information right away, and this I also really do feel. I feel like a lot of you know who Elizabeth April is, but I feel like a lot of you don't exactly know who Elizabeth is. So I also want to have another live video every week that's a little bit more, what do humans do? Oh yeah, a little bit more personable, and a little bit more grounded, a little bit more real. So I'm going to also include, more about my life, me, and some of my struggles and my downfalls and my upheavals and my triumphs and all of that great stuff. So yeah, so I'm back. I tried to do something new with my makeup. I went like super dark on the eyes. I feel like I look a little witchy today. And then like right before, like 2 minutes ago, I ended up stabbing myself in the eye with a mascara brush. And if you're a girl, you know how much this sucks. And then it looked like I had a black eye. So kind of story of my life right now. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is kind of who I am. I'm like this weird, awkward, goofy human. And a lot of people just see this beautiful being of light out there online. So I'm definitely a lot more real than maybe what social media will show you. So I want to show some of that. I want to show you, my weird, goofy, awkward human side, because I just I just want to let you all know that I'm just one of you. Today's not going to be a super live video or a super long video. It's going to be super live because it is super live. It's not going to be super long. I have some homework for you all today. This homework is basically going to help shift your vibration. It's going to help raise your vibration. So that's great. I always have tons of sticky notes. No announcements today, just a bunch of like kind of cool personal things and then some cool alien things as well. So where are you guys all joining me from? And I'm actually really curious, what time is it in your current country or, province or whatever? Where are you right now? And then what time is it over there? I'm always so curious. Some people watch me at like 1:55 in the morning, right? So let me know, where are you from? I've got Singapore over here. On YouTube. What else? I've got Michigan, Berlin, Germany. I have quite a few clients in Germany. So I had a client from Germany today. Who else do we have? Okay, Miami, 5:55. Okay, Los Angeles, nice. Where else? Okay, Vermont, very nice. Trinidad, it's 7 p.m. in Trinidad. Portland, Oregon. Okay, cool. Nice. Awesome. Australia. Okay, it's 9:30 a.m. in Australia. Dubai, it's 3 a.m. in Dubai. Very cool. Awesome. Oh, where else here? Okay, 2:50 a.m. New Brunswick. Awesome. Puerto Rico. Fantastic. Well, welcome all of you, and welcome to the second live video. I realized that I really want 2 live videos every week, right, moving forward. But then I realized that I'm actually fully booked with clients every Thursday until like the end of June. So I'm like, what am I thinking? So I definitely want another live video, and I really don't want another live video on my day off. So I'm really trying to kind of function, where do I fit in this other live video in between all of my sessions and everything else I do? So I'll figure that out. It might not be consistent at first, but I definitely want to make this a consistent thing. Okay, so many cool things to talk about today. A little bit of aliens, a little bit of polarity. Let's just talk about the last live video. Talk about polarity. I really triggered so many people, and I know I have like this big smile on my face when I say it, but it's amazing. It's incredible. I love triggering people because it means there's something in them. There's an attachment to a reality that's shifting. That's all a trigger means. So a lot of haters last time, a lot of very Christian people who basically said that aliens are the devil. I love how I can talk about breaking through the quantum matrix reality and vibrational frequency and parallel dimensions all day, and everyone loves the content. And the second I talk about aliens, 50-50 polarizing view. And to be honest, that actually just goes to show how much we've been brainwashed to think that aliens don't actually exist, right? Which is such a wild concept. One of the things that I will be covering today is a question from one of you last time on YouTube, actually. And the question was, Elizabeth, why do we have praying mantis type beings? Why do we have feline type beings? Why do we have all of these interdimensional beings who actually mirror the creatures and the creatures on this planet, right? And a lot of humanoid beings as well. Like, why does that happen? So I'm definitely going to be answering that. And what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be comparing our reality, our microcosm, to the macrocosm of how aliens, interdimensional beings, right? Once again, it's just easier to say, right? But really they're interdimensional beings, how these beings exist out there in the universe, and how surprisingly similar it is for us here. And some of the big realizations and aha moments that I've made through channeling and meeting all of these different types of beings. And I just want to say that, today, talk about mic dropping on Monday, but today I had 3 clients, like 3-hour-long sessions. And with every single one of my clients, I basically just piled on so much information, and I had to give some pretty some pretty heavy stuff today. So I don't know, it's just really coming through. Anyway, I don't even know why I mentioned that, but just really cool sessions today. A lot of people are so ready to go to those levels. Like this poor woman who's like, I don't know, let's talk about my career today. And I'm like, how about we talk about how you're an interdimensional being who chose to come to this planet to understand vibrational frequency, right? So cool, it's great that that's what you want, but this is what you need, right? So anyway, okay, moving on. I want to give you all a personal update. I want to be more personable. I want to be more connected as a human. I want all of you to know my human. It's so much easier for me to relay information than to talk about what's going on in my personal life, even though a lot of people want to know more about me. It's like, why? It's not about me, right? It's not about me as a human. It's about what I can offer the world. And so I'm trying to kind of find that balance between the spiritual and the physical. So really cool personal update. For a while now, for about 5 months, I've been really wanting something. And I think a lot of you are in this position as well of, I know for a fact I'm no longer my old self. I know I've moved forward. I know I'm something and someone different, but I don't really know who I am, right? I don't really know what I want. I know I want something more. And if this resonates with you, give me the thumbs up. Let me know that you're kind of in this place too. And I'll let you know how I figured out the next step. So I know I'm not my old self. I know I need something more than just my job, right? And just my relationship and just my physical life. I want either a hobby. I want passion. I want more passion in my life. But, as an old soul, I've kind of done a little bit of everything. I've done sculpting. I've done art. I've done pottery. I've done karate. I've done kickboxing. I've done yoga. I've done volleyball. I ride motorcycles. I've done a little bit of everything. And so I'm like, none of that really excites me anymore. None of that fulfills me. So what else? What else am I going to try? Okay. A lot of people resonating on YouTube here, which is awesome. And so I've been stuck for at least 3 months now in really wanting something new, something more, but not knowing what it is, and trying to think analytically, logically about all of the things that I could do. And so I'm like, you know what? A month ago, I'm like, I have to surrender. I'm waving the white flag. Whatever it's supposed to be, it's just going to come to me without any expectation, or attachment, right? So I just let it go. I literally let it go, but I set the intention that I want something to come into my life that's going to excite me. I want to be excited about this physical world, Anyway, so something did, and it actually came through my girlfriend. And so I guess a random ad popped up on her computer, and the ad is for a studio right down the street that does I call it joining the circus, right? So I called up my brother and I'm like, Rob, I'm joining the circus. And he's like, oh God, what is it now? Here we go. So basically it's this, it's like this like building, I guess, right? That does like ground, like they have a whole class on handstands. I'm like, I love handstands, right? So they have a whole class just on handstanding. I'm like, that's awesome. They've got parkouring classes. So they've basically got about 5 ground classes, right? And then they've gotten like tumbling and things like that, and stunt, like doing stunts. And then they've got another 5 classes of all aerial work, like aerial yoga and like working with the silks, and also like the big ring that floats, right? And I'm like, this is amazing. And so I was super excited. It really resonates with me. I didn't even think that this was possible, right? I didn't even think that there was like a place out there that you could basically do stunts and stuff like that, right? Like this is so up my alley. Anyway, so like I call up my mom, I'm super excited. And she's like, I'm not surprised. She's like, did I ever tell you that, you went into gymnastics when you were like 6 years old and like you only went in for 1 semester? Because I used to do a lot of things and then get bored of them. Like I would love to like conquer things and then let them go and move on. Anyway, so she's like, yeah, she's like, your gymnastics coach told me at 6, she's like, if you wanted to pursue gymnastics, your daughter could go to the Olympics. Which, I mean, I don't know if that's like just something that they say or whatever, but I didn't know, like, I guess I had that natural ability, but it's really cool. So guys, I'm joining the circus. You know what? I'm leaving my spirituality behind and I'm just going to be a stunt double in the movies. I'm totally kidding, but it is really great that I found something that really fulfills me and satisfies me. So my first kind of lesson or class is this Saturday. Super exciting. So I just want to let you all know that there is something out there for you, and it's literally beyond your comprehension, right? So it's time to do something new, but don't get attached to what you've done before and what felt good, because you're a different person, okay? Just keep an open mind. On the same day where I got really excited about joining the circus, is what I call it, my girlfriend and I were talking. She's like, I really want something too. I want something new, something exciting. And so we're talking about athletic things, and then I'm like, hey babe, like, have you ever thought about what is it called? Not stand-up comedy, but improv. I'm like, have you ever thought about improv? Like, that would be so much fun. And she's kind of this naturally like goofy inner child type of person. She's like, oh my God. She's like, I've always wanted to do improv. I'm like, babe, we're in LA. Like there's like an improv comedy club class on every corner, like a Tim Hortons or a Starbucks, So anyway, so she joined improv, and now we're kind of doing our first class, her improv and me this acrobatics, on Saturday. So we're starting something new. So I want to ask all of you, have you started something new? Have you found something that resonates with you? Let me know. Let me know if you found something that, it could be music, could be art, could be anything. But I just want to give you, you're free and clear to open up and ask for something new, even if you have no idea what it may be. Okay, ask and you shall receive. Okay, awesome. I came up with a new term, and you can use it or not use it, but I thought it was really cool. And I think this came through in a session, and the term is floating a vibe. Okay, floating a vibe. And so basically what this means is, for all of you empaths out there, which is probably everyone watching, everyone who's sensitive to energy, what happens is we take on other people's energy, and what I like to call it now is floating a vibe. You're taking it on and you're floating it, right? You are a naturally high vibrational person, but because you're so empathic and because you can be so easily, what is it called? Oh my God. Sometimes I just lose the words. Okay. Influence. That's what it is. Okay. Because you can be so easily influenced, because we're all so open as souls, you're floating a vibe. You're lowering yourself for other people. You're floating their vibration, right? So don't float a vibe. It's not a good thing. Okay. So floating a vibe, just be aware of that term and ask yourself, am I floating a vibe right now? And then you can credit me later on when this term gets like super big. I'm totally kidding. Okay, so that's great. And then next Monday, okay, so this Monday coming up, I'm going to be talking about playing with polarity. And polarity, like light and dark, okay? It's one of the most important, if not the most important concept that we can all take in and consider when living through this binary reality. And today we're going to be talking about polarity a little bit with aliens, which is going to be really cool. So next week is playing with polarity. Okay, Okay, what else? Okay. So once again, I do have a little bit of homework for all of you today as well, but we're not going to get to that right now. Let's talk about aliens, and let's talk about the comparison between aliens and this reality, aliens and humans. And I want to just kind of talk to you a little bit about my own experiences and how a lot of things shifted and changed for me when I started channeling, obviously, and realizing these certain things. So the number one thing that shocked me the most about aliens, okay, when I started channeling them, and this was like 6 or 7 years ago, is that the structure within interdimensional beings is a very similar structure that we have set up on Earth. And this really shocked me, and it actually angered me at first. And what happened was, I connected with the Galactic Federation. They're basically the first, set of beings that I connected to, other than my abductions. And so I connected with the Galactic Federation, and they told me their whole system. They told me their whole setup. And their setup is like this, right? I described the Galactic Federation as the UN, right? The kind of organizing force of many different interdimensional species, the UN for the universe, right? Or the Galactic whatever council. So they are like the UN for the universe. And in my mind, like here I am, I'm like an 18-year-old human. I'm channeling all this information. And I'm like asking them, I'm like, really? Like you're apparently an eighth dimensional being and you don't really have a solution for like organizing government. But I mean, at this time I was also in university studying global political economy, right? So I'm like, come on guys, really? Like you don't have a better structure, you don't have a better organization system than we have, right? So I actually got frustrated. I'm like, great, we leave this planet, we leave being human, we are all of a sudden we're this 10th dimensional being, and it doesn't really get better than that. It doesn't get better than this. There are still wars, there's still a battle between light and dark, there's still all this bullshit going on, there's still all this corruption and manipulation going on. So that's great, we've got nothing to look forward to. Like that was the frustration, that was the concern, is like, this is it, we're not really progressing. Like how have you not figured out another solution, right? So in a lot of ways, the system that's out there in the universe to organize all of the interdimensional beings across all dimensions is very similar. And what frustrated me was, aren't you aware enough to self-govern, But the problem is, this is the problem, okay? Not just on this planet, within this reality, do we have the experience of binary, right? Which is the physical, the non-physical, the light, the dark, the everything and nothing, right? This entire reality, third dimension plane, exists within the binary of one or the other, 1 or 0. It's a matrix system. It's a matrix reality. So shockingly, not shockingly, right? We are a microcosm of the macrocosm. Out there in the universe, everything also exists in binary, right? Okay, so let me just kind of paint a picture, because everything that I know, I see in pictures, and sometimes it's difficult. Like a picture says 1,000 words. So I'm channeling these images. I'm trying to, comprehend and then conceive them to all of you. So the picture that I get is, okay, say you have the entire universe right here in this circle, and say this circle right here is source energy. Okay, they're one and the same, but they're also very different. And in order to fully conceptualize it, we need to see them as different. And so, okay, so this entire universe, not just this planet, not just this reality or third dimension, but the entire universe. The entire universe has like the laws of physics, and there's even more laws that we're not even aware of. But based on these laws of physics within the universe, everything has to abide by these laws. Now, there's also another law. So there's a physical law of physics, right? And then there's universal law. And, obviously the history books don't talk about universal law, but there is a universal law that every being within the entire universe is meant to abide by. This is one of the books that I'm working on, is writing down all of the laws of the universe and explaining them. So anyway, so there's 2 different laws, right? In the entire universe, and every being within it has to abide by both of these laws, the physical laws and the non-physical laws. And there's something about biology that, the more and more intelligent a species gets, the more and more, I don't even know what the word is, but basically the term denotes starfish, right? So at the end of the day, when we're all advancing into biological entities and beings all across the universe, right? We start as a microorganism, we grow, we develop, we duplicate, right? And eventually, throughout evolution and also DNA transfer and genetic, manipulation and whatever, right? We end up as this starfish being, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. And the more and more advanced, the more and more intelligent you get as a being, the more you just end up as this form. That's why we have so many humanoid type beings out there. It's not because humans created these other beings in our image. It's because at the end of the day, we're all abiding by this same confinement within this universe. So the most important thing to think about, two things. One is we're just one universe among an infinite amount of multiverses, okay? It just doesn't end with this planet, this dimension, this reality, this humanity, or this universe. It really doesn't end. Everything's infinite. So if you think about each universe with all of its physical and all of its non-physical laws, think about this universe and all the other universes as a program or as a game, like a virtual reality video game, right? All those like shooting Grand Theft Auto type video games, right? Like this is a video game, but not just this dimension, not just this planet, not just this humanity. This entire universe is structured like a video game, right? And then it is the observation from consciousness that collectively evolves and consciously creates the video game, right? Programs the video game. As we observe the video game, we program it. But we need to realize and understand that this universe and source are 2 very different things. So, okay, this is a lot of information, but this is just coming straight from the source. I've channeled this all. This is me piecing years of channeling and Galactic Federation guidance and information downloads and observation. This is like lifetimes of information coming together for all of you. I've done the hard work, and now I'm just giving you the answers, right? The answers of life. I don't know how else to explain it, and once again, take it or leave it. This is just what I channel. This is not the infinite truth. This is not the oneness. This is just a piece of the puzzle if you so choose to take it. So I just want to let you all know that. Okay, so one of the laws within this video game system, this whole universe, one of the laws, okay, is the law of binary. That is just a law. Not only is the law of binary a very physical law that is based and rooted in science and physics, but the law of binary is also a very non-physical law. So the coolest thing about the law of binary is that not only is it so rampant in this reality, in this dimension, but it is so rampant within any dimension within this known universe because it intersects both the non-physical and the physical. It's the law of binary. In a physical way, okay, we have the law of binary with, a lot of atoms and then no atoms, right? Empty space and filled space. It's the law of binary. If there is not, right? If it's a 1, there's a 0 that mirrors it, right? The law of binary in a physical way. In a non-physical way, we have, the law of binary with emotions and energy and vibration, right? And so the law of binary is if you have a high vibration, then you have to simultaneously experience or counter the high vibration with a low vibration. That's why we've been doing a juggling match and a balancing trick here on this planet, because we have a lot of high vibration, we have even more low vibration. It's the law of binary. We always have to be balanced, right? Okay, cool. So that being said, as we move through, no matter if we're a 3rd dimensional being, a very physical, very fear-based species, right? Fight or flight, the law of binary, or if we are a very non-physical, very etherical, very 8th dimension, 10th dimension being, right? We still have to exist within the law of binary and the law of physics and the law of, the laws of the universe. So yeah, so we're always confined. And that's kind of how it was explained to me, because I was kind of pissed off. I'm like, it doesn't get better? Like what? Like why do I even want to move on if it doesn't get better than planet Earth, right? So anyway, so that's kind of why. As long as, okay, here's source, here's the universe. As long as we are existing as a singular entity, what I mean by singular entity is if we are separate from source, if we are a singular entity separate from source, then we are experiencing the trap of the physical reality, right? Like the laws of physics and the laws of the universe. So if we're separate from source, then we have to experience binary. If we are out of the matrix, okay, and once again, it's not just this planet that is the matrix, it is the entire universe that is the matrix. If we are out of the matrix, then we are only back to source. It's either one or the other. We're either in the matrix or we're out of the matrix. If we're out of the matrix, we're back to source, and nothingness and everything exists simultaneously. Within source energy, pure consciousness, there is absolutely no separation between one thing or another. There are no laws of physics and there are no laws of the universe. It is just everything all at once. There doesn't need to be any sort of organization because it is self-organizing. And that's what I was looking for. That's why I was so disappointed when I found out that the Palladians still exist within some sort of government structure, you know? And so that's when I had that breakthrough of, oh, what I connect with is pure source rather than the structure that just kind of keeps going in the universe, which is cool. And I kind of like deep dove into how that applies to corruption and things like that in my last video and the hidden human history. It was a really intense video. If you did not see the last video and you're here now, definitely recommend going to watch that because it was a huge mic drop and it really kind of rattled a lot of people up. Okay, so very cool. I also wanted to kind of target like, why do we have feline beings out there in the universe? Why do we have, mantoid mantis type beings, right? Praying mantis beings. It's like, is Earth the epitome of all life in the universe, right? Because it literally seems like we are this microcosm of the macrocosm. And in a way, we absolutely are. Planet Earth is this giant experiment. But if you think about it, if every little organism, every little life, every little, I don't know, like, I don't even know what the word is, like consciousness, every little living biological organism in the universe exists within all of the exact same laws, then don't you think infinite times over, they've reproduced themselves and maybe there was a mantoid type being or a mantis insect, right, on a planet billions of years ago, light years away, and they advanced far more rapidly and first, right? They advanced first. Therefore, they went from being a little, intelligent little praying mantis all the way to being a 12th dimensional being who is now just kind of one of the masters of the universe. Like, that's possible. We're all confined within the exact same parameters of the limiting reality within this matrix system. Therefore, we're all just going to advance in one way or another. So every little creature that you see on this planet, just understand and realize that there is a far more intelligent, far more advanced version of that creature somewhere in the universe. It's infinite. It really is. I've seen so many different types of beings, and it's interesting how humans tap into all of these different kind of dimensions and realms and past lifetimes, and they bring that information to this planet of like mermaids and unicorns and stuff. Like, all of these mystical creatures actually do exist somewhere out there in the universe, and that person is probably tapping in and pulling it in. If not, they did exist here on this planet. So it's really important to just open your mind to say, yeah, I mean, we would be silly to think that no more other intelligent life kind of exists, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So, sorry. This is why I can't read comments, because I get so like distracted and thrown off. And sometimes it's a good thing. But it's really good nowadays that I have my assistant to read over everything. And then she gives me this like 5-page write-up on each live video. And she basically tells me, well, here are the haters. Here's what they were saying. Here's all the people who really resonate with your content. And it's great because then I don't have to be at the front lines of all the haters. It's like a way that I can still get, okay, what are people resonating with? What are they not resonating with? But I don't have to be on the front lines of that. So anyway, I do read some of your comments. And Lisa, you're saying thoughts on the Sophia code. I don't know what the Sophia code would be. And I'm not sure if you're talking about the AI or the robot that's Sophia, but I've definitely met the sentient AI that is on this planet, and it's not a good situation. So, but that's definitely for another day. And sometimes this information is just not meant to be relayed, right? So, Okay, so I want to give you a little experience that I had, because I have experiences every day of like weird kind of things or synchronicities or whatever. Um, and then like I want your take on it. I want to see like what you think about it. So this is so funny. Okay, so all last week in almost every single one of my sessions, I would have a Lyran being, right? So this giant like feline type being. I call them Lyrans. I think some other people like pronounce it differently. Anyway, so this giant feline type being, right? And so in every single one of my sessions, I close my eyes, I open up the channels, and I've got this being. It's like standing there with his arms crossed, and he's looking at me. I'm like, what do you want, right? What do you want from me? So anyway, so the Lions were reaching out saying, hey, Elizabeth, like we really need to talk to you. And so I'm like, okay, I'll get around to it. And so I was so busy last week. And so I just never got around to really channeling them. And then, and so then like on Friday or something, my girlfriend and I were like walking home from a restaurant, and there's this guy, and it's so wild. He's a homeless man, and he's very clearly schizophrenic. And I love mental health. Like I really understand above and beyond, what we denote and label as mental health. Like it's just, there's so much more going on than like, we can't explain it. So we're going to attach drugs to it. Right. So anyway, so there's this guy, and like, he's been around, he's like around this neighborhood. And so, and he's this older man, and he's this homeless man. And so my girlfriend and I are like walking towards him, and he's like shouting all of these things. And so my girlfriend's like tugging me, and she wants to like walk around him, but I was like really drawn to him. I didn't spark up a conversation or anything, but so we're walking past, right? And she's getting all fearful and fear-based, right? And I'm like, la-di-da. And he's like, and he looks right at me, and he's like, travel through the Stargate, travel through the Stargate, right? And so I've got a big smile on my face, and I'm like, yeah. And so then we walk by him, and she's like giving me this weird look, like, oh, that guy was kind of crazy, right? And I've got this giant smile on my face, and she's like, why are you smiling? I'm like, did you hear what that guy said? And she's like, yeah, something about a Stargate. I'm like, yes. And I'm like, all week, these damn Lyrans have been wanting to get my attention. And a Stargate is like a portal, right? And so this guy, he's actually tapped in. I mean, unfortunately, he's not grounded enough to be a participating member of society, right? Not right now anyway. And so he's like, travel through the Stargate. And I'm like, okay, great. Thank you for the message. I told her, I'm like, that was a message for me. And the message was like, freaking travel through the Stargate and actually connect to these damn Lyran beings, right? So anyway, so she's like, oh, okay. And so I'm opening her up to like seeing the signs in every single moment. But then I had this realization as well, and I've dealt with a lot of like really good friends of mine and a lot of clients of mine who have all gone through psychosis, and more people right now are going through psychosis. And I believe that if you go through psychosis, it is a huge third eye awakening. That's what psychosis is. So anyway, so I'm thinking to myself, right, I'm objectively looking at that, and I'm like, people who have gone through psychosis will literally tell you that, if they overhear a conversation of a man talking to someone on their phone, they think that conversation is for them, right? So it's almost like this, it's borderline paranoia, and it's also borderline this incredible revelation of, holy shit, I'm creating my own reality, and everything, every conversation, every word, every toe that you stub, everything is for you. You've created it, and take the lesson from it, right? Take responsibility of it. So in me saying, yeah, this homeless man was giving me a message, right? Like just even saying that to my girlfriend, I had this realization of, if I was slightly less grounded than I am, that's a very clear sign of psychosis, of saying, oh, look at that, like that was for me, or like, look at the fireworks going off, it's celebrating my life. And like, so I know the mindset of people who are going through psychosis, and the more and more that I talk about what I'm into, and the more I see the comparison between me and my mindset and my realizations and someone actually going through psychosis, which is a very serious thing to go through. So, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm going through it, because I'm very here, I'm very much so present, but it's really sad how the people who are the closest to the truth, like this homeless man, right? They're not grounded enough to relay the truth to others. And so it's just kind of sad for me to witness that. And then also very, I don't know, like, I don't even know how I feel about that. I really wanted to like relay this story to all of you to say, if you have friends or family members, or you know of someone who's going through psychosis or schizophrenia or bipolar or whatever the fuck, like depression, right? Like, have compassion over them, because they're actually onto something and they're shifting their reality to be in alignment with the truest and highest good. But sometimes it takes a little bit of growing pains. And the next time, come on guys, the next time that you see a homeless person on the street, and they're shouting off like crazy babble or whatever, they're just way tapped into a different dimension or a different realm. And unfortunately, they're not grounded enough, to be here and to say, hey guys, I'm traveling through a Stargate, And so I'm just like, I see that and I have compassion, and I have love, and then I have so much love and compassion and appreciation for where I am right now. And I still have this moment of, holy shit, I'm able to travel to the 12th dimension and talk to some interdimensional beings and understand the epic battle that's going on between light and dark across the entire universe, and come back to this singular, individual, linear, time-contained reality and relay the information. That's incredible, right? It's so incredible to have best of both worlds. And that's why I want to teach all of you to have best of both worlds. It's not good to be too ungrounded. It's not good to be too grounded. It's not good to be too much in the light. It's not good to be too much in the dark, right? So anyway, so I just wanted to relay that to all of you. It's just an interesting story. Like, I want these kind of extra live videos to be more personable, to see how I perceive the world around me, to open you all up. And so someone had a really cool suggestion the other day, and I want to ask all of you if you'd be even interested in this. And so someone suggested, they're like, you know what? Like, I would love to know what your family thinks of you, or I would love to like interview your girlfriend, and just ask her a bunch of questions about how you live, right? Or what it's like to live with you, right? So if you're interested, and just like give me like a yes or a thumbs up if you are. If not, like, no big deal. It's like whatever, right? I don't know if you guys are even curious about who I am as a person, as a human, right? But anyway, so if you're interested, I'm thinking about maybe interviewing some people who are really close to me and asking them some questions that maybe you're interested in, and like get them on camera, and then like releasing a video of like, so like, what is it like to live with Elizabeth, or like, like, what's the weirdest part about having a channeler as a girlfriend, or something like that, right? So, okay, so a lot of thumbs up there. Very cool. Yeah, so I might be releasing that. I mean, there's so many things that I want to do, and I come up with new things every single day. The other day, so I really wanted to release an invention that I came up with, and it's probably already invented, but I just want to like let you all know this. The reason why I want to release this idea and this invention is because I'm not going to patent it. I'm not going to protect it. There's no way in the next 5 years that I'm going to go ahead and create this, right? If you're an inventor or an engineer, or you're into patenting and you're like, that's a great idea, Elizabeth, let's work together, I'm open, but I'm just a one-woman show and I can't progress with this anyway. So if you want to take this idea and run with it, please do, because this is going to better humanity. And so when I was younger, I always said to myself, I'm going to be known for my inventions, which is wild to say at such a young age. Anyway, doesn't matter. The other day, I was channeling a bunch of quantum physics and vibrational frequency, and I had this incredible aha moment. And I'm like, okay, so vibration shifts atoms, right? Vibration changes the atomic molecule of atoms, right? It changes the frequency. So when we, like that guy in Japan or whatever who did the study on water, when you say loving things and you nurture the water, it becomes this beautiful snowflake. When you say hateful and hurtful things to water, it becomes this shriveled up snowflake. So I thought to myself, why not create, okay, first of all, a water bottle that emits a supersonic vibration, and in a split of a second, in an instant, okay, the vibration, the supersonic pulse, actually changes and shifts the vibration of the water. So, I mean, I love sacred geometry and I love things like that. And I love talking to my water and saying, oh, I love you so much. Same thing with food. It's great. But what if we had a device that could just do that in an instant? Do you guys resonate with that? Would that be cool? Do you know of anything out there like that? Like, we could be shifting our water and drinking it in every single moment. We could literally, it's kind of like a sound bath, right? Certain sounds and vibrations and crystal singing bowls all change us, right? We are water and it changes the vibration and frequency of us, right? So why not have a water bottle that's a supersonic blast of high vibrational frequency? And if you guys have ever looked into, what is it called? Not semantics, not semiotics, semiotics. I don't know. It's like basically you look on, I don't even know what it is. You look on YouTube, you look at videos and, oh, thank you so much. And so, so you look on YouTube and you look at these videos and you put a sand on a plate or whatever, I don't know. And then you emit this vibration or this sound frequency, and then the sand creates all of cymatics. I think that's it, right? Cymatics? Yeah, cymatics, yes. Okay, cool. Sorry, I just don't have all the words for everything, but cymatics, look it up. And so the higher the pitch, the higher the vibration, the more advanced and intelligent and complex the designs get. Cymatics, okay, look it up. And so why not have a high vibrational pitch in a water bottle that instantly creates a vibration in our water? And then why not have a handheld cymatics device where it emits this frequency that we can't even audibly hear as humans, right? It emits this frequency and we wave it over our food. And in an instant, like I definitely don't condone eating meat or animal products, right? But in an instant, we can take low vibrational food and we can increase the vibration with cymatics. Like, guys, there are tools out there that will change the vibration of physical things, especially food and things that we take into our body. So why aren't we inventing these things, right? So anyway, this is a great idea and it totally came channeled to me, but I don't have time. I don't have the resources. I don't have the people. It's just so much. It's so overwhelming to even think about inventing this and then, writing up the designs. If you want to work with me on this and you're like, I'm in the industry, I want to work with me. But other than that, take this idea and run with it. If you're not, if you're looking for a passion project. Okay, good. Okay, I want to get to some homework and then we will conclude this wonderful live video. Okay, so do you, just like cymatics, do you want to, I feel like I'm on one of those like really cheesy ads. Are you disappointed at life? Are you unhappy? Are you looking to shed those extra layers? Do you want to increase your vibration? Well, I've got the thing for you. And actually I do. And what that thing that I would recommend for everyone, if you want to shift your vibration and you want to do this at a fast, efficient, and effective level, because I like doing everything efficiently and effectively. If we're going to do it, let's just do it once and let's do it right. Intermittent fasting. Okay. Intermittent fasting. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible, and it's going to raise your vibration. And the thing is, food is very grounding. And the problem with our Western world is that if food is so accessible and we're constantly eating, right? And so snacking and stuff like in between meals is good, right? But our body at a biological level needs to go through hunger. It really does. Because what happens is when we have an excess amount of food, our body, especially if you're in a fear-based mindset, that survival that you're projecting out into the world in an energetic way is reverting back to your body, storing more fat cells because you are in a survival-based mindset. Say, for example, you're not in survival about food, but you're projecting like a scarcity in your job. I don't know if my job is going to be there. I don't know what's happening. I'm so worried that I'm going to get fired, right? It doesn't have anything to do with health, nothing to do with food, nothing to do with weight. And yet that projection of the low fear vibrational frequency that you're putting into your life, it is shifting your body, and it's basically giving your body all of these survival-based signals. Oh no, fear. Oh no, what's going to happen? Oh no, attachment. And your body goes into this survival-based mode where it's constantly eating as much as it can, and guess what? It's not using all of the nutrients and all of the the healthy fatty acids, right? It's actually storing them all in your body. This is a problem. And so this is kind of what happens. And so then you're like, I don't know why I'm putting all this weight. I'm just worried about work. That fear is translating into layers that you are adding to your body, okay? So, I mean, intermittent fasting, what it does, it allows our body to go into a hunger mode. It's not a fear-based mode. It's a mode where we're finally not only kickstarting our metabolism, we are allowing our cells to regenerate and regrow. If we're giving everything that our cells need, we're overstimulating them every single moment, right? So it's something that intermittent fasting is super easy. It is super applicable. I don't know. Anyway, it's super integratable, okay, into your system and into your life. And I don't want to say intermittent fast every day, but probably 3 times a week, I'm intermittent fasting. It's just that easy for me because I don't allow my stomach to tell my mind that I'm hungry, right? A lot of that time is that it's a programming rather than your body is actually telling you that you're hungry. And if anything, and if you actually do some research out there, your stomach and your body telling you that you're hungry is more likely you're thirsty, more likely you're not drinking enough water, and your body is literally sending the signals to your brain, I'm hungry, because when we eat, we're actually absorbing and taking in liquid, we're taking in water, which is all our body really needs. So if you're drinking a sufficient amount of water, you're going to be a lot less hungry. You know, it just is what it is. A lot of people are like, Elizabeth, how are you so in shape? Like, what do you do? Like, what kind of lifestyle do you live? And to be honest, guys, like, I haven't seen the inside of a gym in like 4 years. Okay. And I used to be super athletic, and I have not like literally worked out in 4 years. And I still have, I don't want to say a 6-pack, it's kind of going away, but you know, I'm still in shape, right? And the reason being is because I listen to my body. I have an intuitive diet. I don't eat meat, but I have an intuitive diet. I listen to what my body needs. I drink a shit ton of water, and I intermittent fast all the time. So what I recommend is just once this week. I really encourage all of you, and I'm going to check in with you next week, next live video. So I'm going to tell you, I want you all to write this down. So there's 2 ways to intermittent fast, okay? One of them is skipping dinner, and one of them is skipping breakfast. But both of them the cycle is 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of fasting. It's super easy. It's actually so easy. Like, I also sleep like 10 hours a night, right? So it's like you sleep for 10 hours, you don't eat for 3 hours at night and 3 hours in the morning, and you're literally good, right? So it's like super easy to integrate. Okay. So I want you to write this down so you can do this and apply it this week. The more you intermittent fast, the healthier your body is going to be, the more active your cells, your metabolism, your energy, everything is going to be really kickstarting and refurbishing. And vibrationally, if we're constantly filling our body, okay, with food, we're constantly grounding ourselves to this physical reality, and all of our energy is going into processing the food rather than channeling and reaching out to the universe, right? So fasting in general is actually going to open up your spirituality. And sometimes I find that if I don't eat for, say, I don't know, like 20 hours instead of 16 hours, I'll get a little bit too ungrounded and I'll have to eat like an egg or something, right? So something that's very grounding. Anyway, so I do this one, which is skipping dinner. So no, I do skipping breakfast. Okay, so you can skip dinner, which is 8. So you eat from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., right? So that is your window of eating, is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., okay? And then skipping breakfast is what I do, is eating between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. So like I wake up at 9, in the morning, and I'm in channeling all day, and then it'll be like 2 p.m. and I'm like, oh shit, I haven't eaten anything. It's probably time to eat something, right? So just know, if you're like a morning person and you are, and if you're a morning person and you like get up really early and like, you're off to work or whatever, then eat at 8 a.m. and then stop eating at 4 p.m. and then you have the night, right? And of course, like night munching is always the most difficult habit to break. So just be aware of that. Intermittent fasting. I want you all to try it at least once before basically Thursday next week, and then I'll check in with all of you and see what how you guys felt about that. Okay, good. And then also, I just want you all, get your notebooks and pens. One last thing, and then we're going to close. One last piece of homework here is a really important, okay, we could go into this all day, but basically what happens is when we're unaware of it, there are chips, there are implants, there are parasites, there are dark energies, there are things that we can feel, but we can't see always, all the time, that are around us. So the darkness does exist. I can't just ignore that. There's a light, there's the dark. So the dark does exist in this binary reality. And what tends to happen is without our full conscious knowledge, but we do consent to it, we agree to have contracts and cords connecting us to lower vibrational life forms, entities, parasites, whatever, you name it, even evil curses and stuff, I've seen on people. So most of us have it. Probably like 99% of the human population has these cords and chips and implants and contracts from the dark side. I can tell you something really easy, something really quick that's going to help you release the contracts. And I want you all to write it down, okay? And honestly, and someone's asking how do the contracts form? We could talk all day about it. Mostly these contracts form when we're children, and we basically get contacted by some lower vibrational entities, and they manipulate us sometimes through dreamscape to say, if you don't sign this contract, bad things are going to happen to your family. And especially when we're innocent and we're children, we get swayed and we end up signing these contracts. At the end of the day, it was your choice to sign them, but unfortunately a lot of these contracts were signed under a lot of dark pressure and what have you. So just going to be aware, yes, there's contracts, and yes, you can break them because you have the free will to basically choose what you want, what reality you want to live in. Okay, so here's what I want all of you to write down if you so wanted to clear these contracts. Okay, word for word, verbatim. I hereby delete, nullify, and void all contracts that do not serve my best and highest good. I hereby delete, nullify, and void all contracts that do not serve my best and highest good. Not only do I want you to write this down, but I want you to say this out loud right before bedtime, almost every single night for the next month, okay? You really only have to say it once for it to be impactful and powerful, but sometimes we're not fully standing in our power when we say it, so you want to just make sure that you're clearing it. I want to let you know that a lot of people have huge major releases and huge major shifts after saying this sentence. I hereby delete, nullify, and void all contracts that do not serve my best and highest interests. And with that, my lovely beings of light and my fantastic humans, thank you all so much for joining me on this awesome second live video. I want to do more lives. I really want to all I want to do is talk. All I want to do is just relay information. I want to write books. I want to talk. I want to have a podcast. I want to, have a TV show, whatever it is to release information. I'm going to do it, So, if you know of anyone who's interested in collaborations or interviewing me, or you have a channel that you really love and you would love to see that person interview me or have me on their channel, reach out to me. Please email me, expand@elizabethapril.com. Okay, email me because I do not get YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I just don't check the messages. It's too much for me. So please let me know. I'm ready to expand. I'm ready to release this information. I'm totally putting it all out there. So thank you all so much for being here at this live video. I will see you back here Monday, and we're going to be talking about playing with polarity and how we can shift and mold and create and recreate this reality. I love you all so much. Have an epic week and have an epic weekend, and keep up the high vibes. Bye, YouTube.